Of the millennials, dreamers, undocumented citizens, and I call them citizens because they contribute to this country, are fearful of voting. So if I vote, will immigration know where I live? Will they come for my family and deport us?
Not true.
Okay.
And the reason is, first of all, when you vote, you are a citizen yourself, and there is not a situation where the voting rolls somehow are transferred over and people start investigating, etc. The sanctity of the vote is strictly confidential.
I can't believe I heard what I heard. The president's even questioning whether the person who is an illegal is voting, outside of reminding people that if you're a citizen, you vote. But it's very clear that the question is being asked was about illegals voting and afraid that they might be reported to border security. You're illegal. You cannot vote. And the President of the United States is saying, don't worry, no one will be spying on you, catching you. When maybe, whether you're for the President, against the President, whether you're pro-immigration reform, anti-immigration reform, you are ignoring the fact that you've been questioned about illegal voting, which you can't do. Why? Because you're not a citizen of this country. Former Arizona Governor Jan Brewer.
Illegal immigration. We know it's one of the hottest button issues in this campaign and sure to be just as controversial on Election Day. And now President Obama addressing the issue of illegal immigrants actually casting votes. Take a listen.
Many of the millennials, dreamers, undocumented citizens, and I call them citizens because they contribute to this country, are fearful of voting. So if I vote, will immigration know where I live? Will they come for my family and deport us?
Not true.
Okay.
And the reason is, first of all, when you vote, you are a citizen yourself, and there is not a situation where the voting rolls somehow are transferred over and people start investigating, etc. The sanctity of the vote is strictly confidential.
Joining me now to discuss, Troy Slayton, Mark Alderman, and Gina Loudon. You know, it's interesting, in the top 10 states where illegal immigrants are the largest bulk of workers, 7 of them are either Democratic or swing states, including number 1, Nevada, Gina, where we know that the headlines are probably going to be that Hispanics make or break this election there. Are you concerned about how many illegal immigrants may be casting votes there?
Well, of course I am, Charles. I think the message that is going to our children here is so damaging psychologically. If you can't win fair and square, just cheat or steal the votes necessary. Now we know that their motive all the way along on illegal immigration and even on the refugee crisis has never been a humanitarian one, Charles. This is about gaining more money and power and using vulnerable people in a vulnerable situation to do it.
You know, Mark, of course, one of the WikiLeaks talked about Hillary Clinton seeing no borders in this sort of northern and southern hemisphere merging into one homogenous, happy, place. But, people also understand that this is a power base. This is a power source for the Democrats. And if she's elected, she may do some things that guarantee that the Democrats stay in power forever. Is that the game plan?
Charles, can we just once in this election throw the talking points out the window and talk about what the president actually said?
It sounded like he said, I'll let you finish, but it sounded to me like he said that someone who's illegal is a citizen and they should not be afraid to cast an illegal vote. The floor is yours.
But you know he didn't say that. He was asked a question that made no sense about undocumented citizens. There's no such thing. If you're a citizen, you have documents. If you don't have documents, you're not a citizen. The president said if you vote, you are a citizen. You wouldn't be allowed to vote if you weren't. And all he said is your record of having voted and your ID, whether it's your address or your social security number or whatever, isn't going to be transferred over to ICE, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Service. It is shameful to say that the President of the United States encouraged illegal voting.
Troy, let me just ask Troy, because Troy's a criminal defense attorney. If someone who is here, undocumented, illegal immigrant, whatever you want to call, does cast a vote, how likely is it that they would be prosecuted?
It's very unlikely, Charles. It's been a federal crime since 1996 for any undocumented resident, any non-citizen, to vote in a federal election. States are free to pass laws. There hasn't been any since the 20s, but states are free to pass laws that allow undocumented residents to vote in local and municipal elections, but they can't vote in any federal election. And what I heard the president say is that, don't worry, if you are undocumented and you cast a vote, nobody's coming after you. It sounded to me like the chief law enforcement officer of this country gave safe haven. And if I was a Hillary Clinton supporter, I'd be knocking my head, because this plays exactly into the Trump playbook, and they should be high-fiving each other because it plays right into the narrative that the election is rigged.
It sounded like that to me too, guys. We've got to wrap it up there, but everyone would be able to make their own determination as to what they thought President Obama said, but it sounded like that to me as well. Thank you all very much. Well, two candidates, 3 days, and it's the final countdown. We're going to discuss it next.